And he said, therefore I have said to you that no one can come to me unless it has been granted to him by my Father. So he reminds them, no one comes to me unless my Father draws them. Two things I think are important as he reminds them that no one comes to him unless the Father beckons, draws, drags. Two things I think that are hindering the coming to Jesus. One is, and I'm going to point this out, they are minimizing who Jesus is, or failing to recognize who he is. And two, they have a imbalanced, overinflated view of self. And I'm going to point how both of these are clear. They came to Jesus for what reason? He made it clear earlier in the chapter. Why did they get in the boat and follow Jesus? What they want? More food. And he points out, y'all didn't come because of the signs and wonders, i.e., y'all didn't come because I am God and I can do some things you never seen before. You came because you simply view me as one who can feed you naturally. Many ministers will be satisfied with that. As long as the crowd is coming, many ministers would be satisfied if the crowd only saw them as an entertainer. As someone who can scratch their itching ears. As someone who can make them feel good for the rest of the week. Who's articulate. Who knows all the ways to get you engaged. But Jesus makes it clear that the coming has to be under the proper pretense, for the proper reason. We can't say that we have come to him unless we know who he is. So if we come to a Jesus that is not really Jesus, we haven't come to Jesus. So he's saying, any of you who have come to me simply thinking that all I can give you is this earthly bread and not recognizing that I am the bread of life who has come from heaven, then you haven't come to me. It didn't mean you didn't get in the boat and come over. You did that. You got in the boat and came over. You were in the crowd. You were in my proximity, but you weren't following me. You don't belong to me. And then remember, who is he talking to? He's talking to a bunch of Jewish individuals who were still under the impression that in order for them to get into heaven, they had to do what? Follow the law. So remember the story about the rich young ruler. This is a whole bunch of individuals underneath that same ideology, that same philosophy, that in order for me to do what I need to do, I've been doing that. So they're not following Jesus because they are in need in their mind of someone who can save them. Someone who can spiritually set them free. They want somebody who can politically set them free. And in their mind, they don't need saving because they're being saved by their own works. But they did get in the boat and follow over where Jesus was at. But when he reminds them that no one can come to me unless my Father has drugged you out, he's saying two things. For one, yes, I am from heaven. Recognize me for who I am. And for two, recognize the fact that although you are in my midst and you came over, the only reason you got here is because someone drugged you over here. And if you didn't come because you were drugged over, if you think you walked over, you really haven't come over yet. Is it possible to go to church every Sunday? Is it possible to go to a Christian college and go to chapel? Is it possible to pray, raise our hands, Lord, have we not healed the sick, cast out demons in your name, depart? Is it possible to be where Jesus is and look like you are following Jesus and not be following Jesus?